Shadow animatronics are mysterious and horrifying. They are the darkness in the corner of your eye that you feel you can never quite fully seem to catch. They offer a glimpse into a potentially much darker FNAF universe. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we'll be counting down our top 10 scary fan shadow animatronics. Ooh, fan-made shadow animatronics. Let's get into it. Number 10. Shadow Withered Chica. All of the Withered animatronics are just horrific. So what happens when you combine them with the shadow animatronics? You get gloriously terrifying creations like Shadowed Withered Chica. Withered Chica is already really creepy due to the fact that she is missing both of her hands and really only has wire left in place of them. Her bright yellow coloring usually helps to offset this creepy detail when it comes to her appearance, but the shadow version of her gets no such counterbalance, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on your opinion. Her dislocated jaw is also highlighted even more here by the fact that she's in shadow, with her bib becoming a disturbing beacon in the darkness. The only thing you can see looming when she comes towards you, you're like, ah, her bib! Never thought I'd be so scared of a bib. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want even more FNAF lists, you know we want to give them to you, so be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 9. Shadow Sprite. Shadow Sprite appears to be a completely original animatronic design. Sprite is described as a mammal and a carnivoran. Carnivoran meaning likely that Sprite is an eater of meat or flesh, so a carnivore. Carnivoran's kind of just another word for carnivore, I believe. So you definitely would want to watch out with this animatronic, as it won't just store you somewhere, it'll likely ingest you and potentially ingest your soul as well, who knows. Maybe this is the only animatronic who doesn't really gain remnant from killing people and can't really extract that, storing the soul, but instead completely devours its prey. Sprite appears to have two large arms that are wing-like save for the fingers on the ends of them. It has feet like a dog and giant ears that are almost bunny or dog-like in appearance. Kind of reminds me of those floppy bunny ears. Number 8. Crazed Shadow Puppet. So there are actually a whole series of these shadow animatronics and I love them. I love these little crazed animatronics, their expressions are great. For some reason they really remind me of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Maybe it's that wash of insanity, or maybe it's all the dripping inky-like look of their faces. But yes, it's definitely giving me Bendy vibes. Crazed Shadow Puppet is probably my favorite of them all, as we can also see that not only is there something very disturbed about this grinning, wide-eyed expression, but you can also see upon close inspection that the puppet faceplate here is cracked as well, which also feels somewhat symbolic to me. Having a face with a crack in it while also seemingly losing your mind? I mean, it's like your mind has a crack in it, you know what I mean? Number 7. Shadow Mangle. As much as I thought Shadow Mangle would be terrifying, and well, it is, I'm actually not finding this to be one of the most scary on our list, but it's still pretty scary. Shadow Mangle, even in one iteration, is pictured as being fully whole, although even then we kind of get some Cthulhu-like vibes from this animatronic. The version of Mangle is pictured as being fully together with a big bushy tail and furry fox face and ears. Its teeth and eyes glow a bright white and it sports a little bow tie. But while that all sounds not too bad in terms of scare factor, behind it in shadow loom a series of tentacles, if you will, obviously meant to be the pieces and bits that couldn't quite fit back together. Anything that is tentacles looming behind it, I'm like, no, not gonna do that. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Number 6. Shadow Chica. Oddly enough, Chica is one of the few main cast at Freddy's who doesn't really seem to have too much of her own shadow version. We don't really know why this is, but just because Chica has a lot of weird love coming her way doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve to also have a super scary and mysterious alternate shadow version. Fans of course have looked to rectify this by giving her one. Granted, you have to be careful where you share said fan-made animatronics online in terms of communities, as some have attempted to do so in canon-based wikis where it's considered a major no-no. So yeah, but they're still out there. I like that they also still exist on those wikis. They've just been like, you can't do this here, but we're not gonna delete it, we're just gonna move it around. Shadow Chica is typically depicted as being less rounded than our FNAF 1 counterpart and a little bit more curvy instead. Why is Chica always drawn curvy, even with FNAF 1? I don't know. Her eyes, teeth, and the eyes of her cupcake stand out, glowing a bright white. So many curvy chicas. I can't. Even when it's not Toy Chica, people are like, let's give her a waist. I'm like, she's like a chicken. I feel like, I don't know. You can be either way, really. I'm not trying to body shame Chica here, just FYI, just to be clear. I just think it's interesting the way that people choose to draw her. Number 5, Shadow Springtrap. Not sure if it makes sense to have a Shadow Springtrap considering that Springtrap when he first shows up is still alive, or alive in the sense of being a shambling corpse that can still move and think, I presume, but he was trapped within a Spring Bonnie suit. I guess as alive as Springtrap gets. The Shadow animatronics are typically all kinda ghost-like or glitch-like in terms of their appearance and what they stand for. I mean, they're kind of mysterious actually. We don't really know a lot about Shadow animatronics. I think we had a whole video about Shadow animatronics and like, what are they really? In my opinion, they're kind of like mirrorverse versions of almost all the animatronics we know, love, and fear, like their other half. It feels weird to have this for some reason for an animatronic who is also a person, but just because it's somewhat unconventional, it doesn't mean that fans can't imagine what a Shadow Springtrap would look like. And the answer is, of course, terrifying, because Springtrap's already terrifying, so you shadow it, still scary. Number 4, Shadow Toy Foxy. Shadow Toy Foxy is a very different looking Shadow type animatronic. Instead of being quite as dark with pinprick white eyes like other Shadow animatronics, this version is a bold purple that is somewhat see-through, revealing their endoskeleton through their somewhat translucent purple outer exosuit. Kinda reminds me of those old Macs people had in the early 2000s where they had like colorful plastic on the back that you could see all the inner workings and the motherboard through. I might be aging myself here, but that is a thing. I remember those Macs. I don't think I ever owned one though, sadly. Of course, this could also just be an artistic rendition of what would be a much more shadowy animatronic should it appear in game, because, you know, this is a drawing. Shadow Toy Foxy not only looks scary, but also manages to look refined as well, keeping their bow tie, lipstick, and bright cheeks. Number 3, Nightmare Shadow Bonnie. Nightmare animatronics are already terrifying enough. We don't need to give them anything else to make them even more scary, do we? But that is just what this fan-made version does, so I guess maybe we do. Nightmare Shadow Bonnie is a version of the Nightmare Bonnie animatronic, one that happens to be more shrouded in darkness due to its shadow-like inky black coloring. However, even in shadow, this animatronic still gives us some detail so we can see how tattered it is. For some reason, I also find its expression, face shape, and its teeth to be even more horrifying than the standard Nightmare Bonnie animatronic version. So maybe we do need Shadow Nightmare animatronics, like a whole series of them. They'd be really scary. Number 2, Shadow Toy Chica. Shadow Toy Chica is maybe the most horrifying of all of the fan-made Shadow animatronics, because of how hot everyone is still obsessed with making her. Once again, this is Toy Chica, so Shadow Toy Chica is not removed from that. We're still making her like a weirdly sexy animatronic. Well, yeah, like I said, she is a version of Toy Chica. Shadow Toy Chica is typically depicted as having a big, jagged grin and an X on her chest, both of which, along with her pupils, glow a bright white. Sometimes she can also be seen carrying her cupcake, which glows a bright white or neon blue. Shadow Toy Chica also has her own Twitter profile that someone made for her under the username Shadow Thought Chica. I think that says it all when it comes to just how scary this fan-made Shadow animatronic is. Number 1, Nightmare Shadow Mangle. I thought that Shadow Toy Chica would be the most scary in principle, and then Nightmare Shadow Mangle came along. Mangle is already a horrifying animatronic, so this really just adds a layer to that. Nightmare Shadow Mangle is a lot more intimidating, considering that it's really hard to see. Mainly what we can see of this animatronic is its bright white glowing teeth and its eyes, and the eyes that belong to its endo puppet parrot. Yikes! This version of Mangle would be hard to spot if you face it in person, and when you likely did end up noticing it, it would probably be way too late. It would be like, I got you, and you'd be like, dead. Which animatronic do you think would be the scariest in Shadow? Which Shadow animatronics would you like to see introduced into canon? What type of animatronic do you think is the scariest type? Is it Shadow, or is there something else that you think is even scarier? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it is time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 FNAF Scary Truths about the Afton family. Slade DeWolfo ponders, everyone talked about Foxy's teeth making him more dangerous. What about the hook? He literally comes with a weapon. weapon. Oh, that is a good point, Slade. You were right. He does come with a weapon. So not only does he have teeth, but he also has that hook, and you could use that hook to definitely do damage to somebody's noggin, that's for sure. Mr. Cubano08 elaborates, the scooper has a remnant injector and that's why Michael survived the scooping of his innards. I saw a few other people sounding off in the comments about this, and I do think it's a pretty valid theory, although I will say the only thing that I have a question about with that is if you put a remnant in someone, does that just give them life, or like does that also give them the soul of someone? Because I feel like I thought remnants were also kind of like souls, so then wouldn't Michael kind of be a different person? Would he still be Michael? Anyways, let me know if you have theories on like how that works, if that's what we're going with. Because yeah, it's interesting. Big Fan 10 Gaming theorizes, I think it's because the crying child / Evan witnessed Elizabeth's death, which explains why the nightmares have stomach mouths. Oh, alright, well that's pretty interesting. I like that theory, that's a good one. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and your theories shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I am your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!